we're talking today how to be a better man, how to be a better man in your relationship. And the center stage segment, we talked a little bit today. We first of all kicked off the show in the morning loop on the 3 new types of men. No more beta men, no more alpha men. We're talking egalitarian, we're talking progressive, we're talking the 3 different types of men that the Dr. John Olfey redefined here. And we're gonna get into some action steps about how to become a better man here over the next 13 minutes in our deep dive segment, where we move from ideas to action steps. We've talked about communication, vulnerability, accountability, consistency. Now let's break it down into some actionable things that you can do to improve your relationship, Marty. And one of the things that we spoke about in the earlier segment with Johnny and Christina was active listening for better communication. And I was, dropping in the previous segment, my quest to become a better man, my quest to become a better communicator. John, you said something to me a couple of weeks back that your house is a no raised voice house. And I got to be honest, man, I was not raised in that kind of house. I was raised in a you raise your voice type house. Mom was yelling, dad was yelling. It was just that kind of space. And I got to be frank with you. I learned some of those behaviors, and I've continued with those behaviors. I've since made the decision, Johnny, about my communication styles and communication methods after listening to you and spending time on the show, that I made a decision last week that I was going to stop that communication style. So in terms of practices on how to actively listen and how to actively communicate better, I sat down with my beautiful wife last week and said, I'm done. I'm done raising my voice. I'm done communicating with a higher voice because...
Brother, that is awesome, brother. I'm getting goose pimples just sitting here. That's for you to have that type of realization and commit to it. That's awesome, brother.
I broke down, man. I broke down because I had enough of it, Johnny. And I don't like who I become when my voice raises. I don't like how the situation gets out of hand. So we're talking communicating. We're talking how to be a better man right now. And I've been guilty about raising my voice with my children, with my wife. And we're not, and listen, I want to be very clear. I'm not talking physical. I'm talking purely verbal. I'm talking my voice raises. I get excited. You guys can see how excited I get. When I get angry, I get excited and my voice raises. And you know what? It just wasn't serving any purpose, Johnny. So I've stopped. And I know you've told me it's going to be tough. And I know it's going to be a journey for me to get through it. But I'm just done with it, man. I'm done raising my voice.
On that level, brother, here's something that I remind myself, which makes it a lot easier for me to respond rather than react.
Yes.
Is that when I respond, I feel good about me. When I react, I feel like a weak little bitch because I didn't have the discipline to stick in that conversation or stick in that situation and stay true to myself.
Yeah. Marty, when you hear me saying that, what comes to mind for you? We're talking active listening for better communication. We're talking better communicating for our partners. When we're speaking with our partners, we're talking about expressing emotions without losing strength. And Johnny's like, hey, when I'm reacting instead of responding, I'm expressing my emotion, but I'm losing strength. Marty, what do you hear when we're speaking of these things, Chris?
Well, one, I'd pay to see you raise your voice at Piper and Carter and Brookie. I would love to see that. That would be hilarious. But this is how I look at it. So I don't react. I got a couple. I could talk myself. I told you I could tell myself I'm the president. I could talk myself out anything. So one thing that helps working out. So I get the stress out of my body. If I get my workout in, you're not gonna catch me reacting or acting any type of way, raising my voice. That helps. And two, I look at it like the type of man I want to be. I want to be reserved in any situation. I don't want to be in a state of weakness ever. So no matter what I'm going through, I want to come out and I guess as strength. I'm trying to articulate myself.
Yeah.
But I've made a vow to myself that that's just not part of my life. You're not going to catch me yelling. If you catch me, that's just not me. I let go of that a long time ago. And I pride myself on that. And it's a skill that everyone doesn't have. Right. And I feel like it's a level of intellect you got to have as well. So not only is it a skill, I feel like I'm super intelligent if you can't get me to that point. So that's
said. Yeah.
That's just me.
And
one more thing.
Go ahead, Marty.
I feel, and I know I'm younger than y'all, and I know I got a lot more life to live. And I feel like I've been through so much adversity already that an argument with a girlfriend or an argument with a client or whatever the case is, it ain't shit compared to what I've been through. Excuse my language. It can't compare. So what am I raising my voice through when I've already been through probably some of the worst stuff I've already seen in my life?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's how I look at it.
So another critical element, accountability. A 2023 study, John and Marty, from the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, and this links back to owning our mistakes, shows that taking accountability, and we're all about accountability on the show, gentlemen. Get up, get out of bed, don't hit the snooze button, get yourself going, look in the mirror and hit your goals. Shows that accountability in a relationship increases trust by 25%. So I'm feeling like, Johnny, by me stating that I'm taking accountability for my actions, I'm done raising my voice, I'm going to own it. I'm going to own my negative behaviors there. I'm going to own my mistakes with that. My goal and my hope is with my children, with my partner, that yes, they trust me now, but I'm hoping that my trust level goes up, because when we get into a situation, dad's not going to fly off the handle, Johnny. Dad's going to approach it with a measured approach, using words and communication and being vulnerable along the way. John, lean into that comment.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, when first you got to be accountable to yourself. When you say you're going to do something and you do it, then it's basically, it's like a practice, because we say to ourselves we're going to do things all the time, and if we do it, then it just becomes a habit of following through. Then it's much easier for us to follow through for the people around us. But here's the thing. When the people around you see that you don't hold the word to yourself, they don't trust you're going to hold the word to them nearly as much. So accountability, building trust, I'm all about that, but it's directional. It goes two ways. You got to be accountable to yourself and to the people around you. When you're accountable to yourself first, it makes it a hell of a lot easier to be accountable to those that you love.
Yes. Hey, you're hanging out with Keith, John, and C. Marty Fit here. Mornings in Live with Keith and Friends. The only morning show to help you guys get going, get your ass into bed, and not hit the snooze button. We're talking today about how to be a better man in your relationship. And a Harvard study in 2023, Marty, showed couples who engage in small, positive daily behaviors are 35% more likely to stay together. Marty, as you go through your journey of life with girlfriends and meeting partners along the way, talk about the power of small, positive daily behaviors. And then, Johnny, I'm going to come to you, pal, because I know you and Terry have Terry time scheduled, and I'm working hard on that with my lovely wife, about doing these daily things that can add up accumulatively over time instead of waiting for a long period of time to restart again. Talk about the daily accumulative habits, Christopher Martin. And I guess the question I'm asking is, the daily habits of relationships compared to the daily habits of going to the gym, they're the same thing, aren't they, Marty?
Yeah, it's the same thing. Habit stacking. We talk
Look
about it all
out,
the
look
time.
out, brother. Go on now.
Habit stacking, man. We talk about it on this show all the time. You have to, so whatever you're great at, whatever your strength is, I've mentioned this before. If my strength is the gym, I've got to treat business like the gym. I've got to treat personal life, relationship like the gym. A lot of times these things are parallel. The gym is the most parallel thing to life.
Yes.
Right? So if you prioritize your partner just like you prioritize your protein intake, things will get better. And another thing that comes to mind is like compromise, right? So for myself, I love making content. I love working out. When I'm in a relationship or I'm talking to somebody, I might have to change what time I work out or change what time I edit my content to prioritize that person. So it's just meeting in the middle, and my partner will have to do the same thing for me at the end in certain times.
Yeah. Yeah. Good morning. Good time. Good to have you here this morning. Good to see you here. And good morning. Good morning. Asin here as well. And good times. Like, I have range anxiety. Is that from your EV you're driving there, good time? Or is that just from having rage anxiety of working through rage and so forth? Here's the thing. There's no one size fits all formula for being a better man in your relationship. We're talking about some very obvious things here today. Show up, be consistent, be vulnerable, be authentic, be yourself, lean into communicating. I think the key message to all this, guys, is that these are all places to start. And we talk about this all the time. There's no end to this, right? It's about progress, not perfection. One thing I'd offer you guys today as you're getting your day started, maybe you're hearing some things we're talking about today, pick one thing. Ask yourself, can you be a better communicator today? Can you be more vulnerable with your partner today? Can you offer something up you didn't offer yesterday? Those are things I think that we all can do better for ourselves and for our partners to be a better man. I know that last week, and I've offered up to you guys here this morning, I made the decision that I was done with the raised voice. Just done with it.
Peak.
I looked in the mirror and I said to myself, and Johnny, I got to tell you, man, the influence of this show has had on me. Like, fuck, Anderson's talking about this non-raised voice thing. I saw a clip you had with Terry, and I'm like, yeah, like, why? What is it serving me for raising my voice? I'm just done with it. I'm 52 years old. Like,
Can
I'm
I ask
fucking,
you a question?
like, I'm done with it. Go ahead, Marty.
So a lot of times when I raise my voice and I reflect, whatever I was raising my voice at was probably dumb. Did you ever get that feeling? That's not a reason to raise your voice. You ever get that feeling?
100%, Marty. And I think that's why I had the reflection, which was like, I reflected upon it. And I was like, oh man, really? There was a better approach for it. And then again, I saw a video with John and Terry and I saw them talking and I was like, yeah. And then I'm like, fuck, man, John's the same age as me. If he can do it, let's judge a book by its cover. John Anderson. I'm like, fuck, if he can do it, I'm going to do it too. And I'm just done yelling. I'm done raising my voice. I can be a better person. If I cannot raise my voice for the next 20 years of my life, man, that's a learned behavior for me to change behavior.
Yes. And the thing about it, brother, is it's a habit.
Yes.
You will develop the habit of somebody says something and you're going to find yourself winding up. That you got to take that breath a little deeper. You got to let it nice and slow and realize, how do I want to respond to this, whatever the situation? Maybe you're thinking, how do I want to respond to this idiot? How do I want to respond to whomever it is, my wife, my kid? But when you get in the habit of not reacting, that's really the foundation of it. That little pause, that, because we find ourselves like cocking, getting ready to go. And you got to find, as you start cocking back, you got to just keep on going with a deeper breath and put that hand down and think, okay,
yes,
what am I going to say now? What am I going to respond with? And it's a habit. It gets better every time you practice.
So well said, Johnny. And Good Time just says, I'm going to work on that too. I applaud you, brother. Much respect to you too. Work on it, brother. I really encourage you to, because Marty even said it too, right? When we're reacting, you're not listening to what the person's saying. You're busy working on your rebuttal so that when they're done talking, you can yell. And I've been that person too many times and I'm fucking done with it. I'm like, I'm not really paying attention to John right now because I'm worried about what I'm going to yell back at him. And
So immature,
talking.
man.
What's that, Marty?
I said, that's just so immature, like that way of thinking.
It is, though. It is. And like I said, I had an epiphany last week. Laura and I had a disagreement. True story. We all have them, Marty, John. And I was like, you know what? I had some reflection and I'm like, I'm done with it. I'm done reacting this way because I can't get on this show. I can't speak to all these folks that are showing up and we're trying to help live better lives. Well, I just hang up the show and not be that person. So I was like, fuck it. I'm going to try to be a better man. And this is the one thing I'm going to do. So there we go. Johnny, you going to say something, bud?
Yeah, I was just going to say, the foundation for me is I just remind myself how poorly I'm going to feel about myself if I react.
Yes. Marty, there was a time, man, you said that you would have liked to have seen me with Piper, Carter, or Brookie. There's two incidents that come to mind for me. One time with Carter where I lost my cool, raised my voice, and I don't like thinking about it because it makes me feel not very good at all. Not good at all. And I'm like, nope, I got to put that away. And then secondly, I reflect upon times at the kitchen table where the kid's like, hey, can we see daddy voice? I'm like, oh, hey, you want to see daddy voice? Yeah. Like all having fun, and then it's all fun and candy, and then all of a sudden I'll just drop the daddy voice and just freak everybody else out. I'm like, nah, we'll just leave dad voice here on the side here. We don't want to have dad voice come out because dad voice is a mean voice that's not much fun. So we'll leave that there. We'll leave that there, and instead we're gonna do this.